All right, welcome. Today we are diving into something I think pretty much all of us can relate to. That little voice inside your head that just will not stop talking. We're going to look at a really simple, but honestly, a surprisingly powerful way to quiet that noise. It's called the 3-minute rule. So let's just jump right in. I mean, it's a familiar feeling, right? You're lying in bed at 2 a.m., replaying some dumb thing you said, or you're so stuck on a decision that you just feel completely frozen. It's like having a radio in your head that you can't find the off switch for. So, first, before we can find a way out, we've got to understand the trap itself. Let's break down what this overthinking loop really is and what it's doing to us. At its heart, overthinking is this loop, this repetitive cycle. And here's the key. It's not productive. It's not problem solving. It's more like a mental hamster wheel. You just analyze and second guess and replay the same stuff over and over and over again without ever getting any closer to an answer. And this right here, this is the real cost of it all. When you're totally trapped inside your own head, you're not actually present in your own life. You kind of become a spectator, paralyzed by all that analysis. It is exhausting, and it literally keeps you from enjoying the good things that are right there in front of you. Now, it's so easy to beat yourself up about this, to think it's some kind of personal failure, but it's not. There is actual science behind why our brains get caught in these spirals. Let's take a quick peek under the hood. So, this is so important to understand. Overthinking is actually a defense mechanism. See, your brain absolutely hates uncertainty. It craves control. So by endlessly churning over a problem, your brain feels like it's doing something productive, like it's protecting you from a bad outcome, even when all it's really doing is keeping you stuck. This slide really gets to the core of it. Our brains run on a reward system, and dopamine is a big part of that. Now here's the wild part. Just ruminating, that endless worrying, it can actually give your brain a small, familiar hit of dopamine. It feels kind of safe. Taking action? Well, that's uncertain. The outcome is unknown. So the brain looks at the two options and often prefers the guaranteed low-level reward of worrying over the potential but very uncertain reward of acting. And just like that, a behavioral loop is born where doing nothing becomes the default, and man, is that loop hard to break. And this is such a key difference to see clearly. Productive thinking is all about moving forward. It's designed to find a solution and get you to take action. Overthinking, on the other hand, just keeps you laser-focused on the problem itself, spinning and leading absolutely nowhere except paralysis. One creates momentum, the other just kills it. Okay, so we get the loop, we get this science behind why we're stuck. Now let's talk about the way out, a super simple tool that can help us break that cycle. This is the million-dollar question, right? If your brain is literally hardwired to do this, how in the world do you fight back? How do you interrupt that pattern and get your focus and your peace of mind back? Well, it all comes down to this one number, 3. Just 3 minutes, that's it. That's the little window of opportunity you need to short-circuit the spiral and point your brain in a new direction. So what does this rule actually do? It's not magic, and it's definitely not about forcing your thoughts to just stop. You can't, really. Think of it more like a circuit breaker. Its only job is to break that connection between a looping thought and the paralysis that usually comes right after it. All right, this is where it gets really practical. Let's walk through the 5-step action plan to put this rule into practice right away. Here's the whole plan. First up, awareness. You just have to catch yourself in the act of spiraling. The second you do, move to step 2. Set a timer for exactly 3 minutes. This gives you a hard stop. Third, write it down. Get the thought out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Fourth, just breathe. 5 slow, deep breaths to calm your nervous system. And finally, the most critical step of all, act. Take one tiny, almost laughably small step forward. So what in the world is a micro-action? Look, we're not talking about solving the entire problem right now. We're just talking about creating a little bit of forward motion. It could be as simple as sending that one-sentence email you've been avoiding, or making that quick phone call, or maybe just opening the document and working on it for 60 seconds. Heck, it could even be just putting on your shoes to go for a walk. The point is, it's a tiny physical step in the right direction. And this all leads to the biggest mindset shift here. The entire point of this whole exercise is to change your goal. You're no longer trying to control your thoughts. You're just trying to generate movement. Every single time you use the 3-minute rule, you are actively retraining your brain. You're teaching it a brand new pattern. When this anxious thought shows up, we don't spiral, we act. The real secret weapon against overthinking isn't more thinking, it's action. The trick is to move first. Clarity will follow, I promise. And this is what I really want you to take away from all this. Stop trying to win a war inside your own head. The goal is not to have a perfectly silent, empty mind. It's to prove to yourself over and over again that you are not your thoughts. You just need to move forward one small, clear action at a time.